Hello, dear listeners. Once again, as with the last episode, this is a bit of a heads up that normally you can listen to our episodes in any order and it's fine, and it doesn't really matter for what's going on, either with the things that we discuss in the episode or the little interstitial bits with our narrator, Dee. But in this case, this episode really functions as a companion piece to our Christmas Carol episode. So before you listen to this one, if you haven't listened to the Christmas Carol episode yet, do make sure that you listen to that one, or at least read the DM's Guild write-up, since that has the D-bits for that written in there. And, ultimately it does make sense that this is a companion piece to our Christmas Carol episode, because at the end of the day, it's about a large man with facial hair who comes from the north, delivering toys to children. Enjoy! The Wonderful World of Darklords. The Peddler's Tales. Shan Yu. Dear Banks, I doubt you will ever see this letter, for I have nowhere to send it, save perhaps Santa Cecilia to join the other tributes to the beloved dead. But it helps me to pretend that I am writing this to you rather than to myself, for my time serving my patron has ensured that I find it easier to sort through my thoughts in the form of letters and journals. Besides that, well, my recent experiences have proven that you meant it when you said that you would always be with me. Perhaps even now you are sitting on my lap, watching as I write these words. Before I departed Londinium, I made a detour to Portobello Road to resupply and to search for any genuine magic items amidst the dross. As I shouldered through the bustling crowd, I heard a raised voice shouting about money. Someone lamenting his losses to a pickpocket or confidence man, I assumed at first, until I heard a voice that I recognized.
I'm sorry, sir, but that item is not for sale.
I started, for it was the peddler I had encountered at this very market a year ago, no longer affecting his ridiculous drawl. The peddler? Refusing a sale? The raised voice boomed again. 10,000 denarii then. 20,000. Name your price. I pushed through the crowd and saw a muscular man towering over the peddler in his stall. Although I have yet to visit there personally, I knew from descriptions that he was wearing clothing common to Agrabah. The peddler was covering a small object with his hands and beginning to sweep it from the table. The Agrabanian reached for the peddler's arm, and I could see that he intended to take the item by force. I assumed my form of dread. The gentleman said it was not for sale. The Agrabanian turned to me with a snarl, then looked back to the peddler. Don't think this is over, little man, he spat. My master is not known for his patience. With that, he bowled his way back into the crowd.
Thank you, madam. What a relief to see a friendly face. I am a man of commerce, not of war.
I raised a hand to cut off the peddler, half suspecting that the Agrabanian had been a confederate meant to inveigle me into yet another sales pitch. No need for your patter, peddler. What do you have to sell me this time? I pointed at the item the peddler had been hiding from the Agrabanian, a simple doll made of white horsehair. Could it be that the doll really is for sale? Just for me, your favorite customer, perhaps? I didn't expect his reaction. For once, he had no response, no quick path to a sales pitch.
No. This doll is not for sale. But you know me well. Well enough, I hope, to do me a favor. Take it. No charge, no provisos, no quid pro quo. All I ask is that you listen to my tale, as you have before. I did not purchase this doll. It found me, as violence found its owner, and as violence was about to find me, before you intervened. The doll's tale is a tragic one, for a single young girl and for her nation. But perhaps, together, we can keep this tale from repeating itself.
The peddler's tale was chilling enough, but all the more unnerving for the way he spoke furtively, holding the doll close to him, wary of those who might overhear. I assured him that the Agrabanian was gone, but it did little to put him at ease.
I appreciate your help with the Agrabanian. though if I know his master, he won't be dissuaded for long. But he's not the first to try to part me from this doll. Since I found it, I've been beset by pushy would-be buyers, yes, but also thieves and soldiers and bandits of all descriptions. It seems that Shan Yu has inspired terror and curiosity in the highest halls of power, judging by the lofty personages who have sent their agents to acquire this simple doll. The truth is, I would have given it up long ago, but I thought of how little such powerful people would care for the fate of one girl, or even one village. I held out hope that in the next city I'd find a pair of trustworthy hands to bear the doll and its owner onto a better fate. And here you are.
I held the little doll in my hand. Perhaps it was my imagination, but I thought I could sense the aura of sadness and loss that surrounded it, the little girl who would never be remembered or at peace. Although others were seeking it, I did not believe it was the object of my patron's quest. Its link to Shan Yu was so strong that if Aslan's purpose were for me to find it, he would have sent me to domains ravaged by the warlord, or perhaps to inventory the dying domains of Chlor. And yet, while the doll was not the primary object of his interest, I knew that he would find it fascinating. And that brings us to why I am writing to you and not to my patron, Binks. Perhaps when I was able to convince myself that he was someone other than who he is, I would have sent it into his hands, but now... Aslan Rex is no sadist to torture this child's spirit for the sheer pleasure of it. If he were, I would have left his employ long ago. But he will want to study this doll, and his studies will involve prolonged experimentation, and the little girl's comfort will not be a priority. And when he is finished... But he will never be finished. If he lets this child's spirit rest, the doll will be nothing more than a battered plaything, and he will lose a valuable resource. That is not the sort of man he is. Thankfully, the Peddler was so moved by this spirit's plight that I was able to convince him to throw in a second item for free. A feather that unlocks the holder's latent supernatural abilities, last owned by a flying loxodon. I have sent this to my patron, along with an invoice for its cost. In the meantime, I have used the money that I supposedly spent, along with the favors owed to me by the parents of the children I rescued on my last visit to Londinium, to ensure that the doll is delivered to Mama Odie of Crescent City. It is with no small amount of hesitation that I am sending it to her. I never did meet her in person, and part of me is still certain that she must be a hag preying on those who trust her. However, while I have more reservations about Yensid than I was initially willing to admit, his words to me in our last correspondence were true. I have to stop believing that those of us who use magic are more prone to wickedness than anyone else. By all reports, Mama Odie is wise, selfless, and powerful, and if anyone knows how to help this child's spirit, it is she. I can continue my relationship with Yensid with a clear conscience. I can. This is the proof. Love, D. This has been The Wonderful World of Darklords. We have no affiliation with Disney or Wizards of the Coast. All music recordings used in this episode are in the public domain and were obtained through museopen.org. Titles and links are in the show notes. The Wonderful World of Darklords logo was designed by Haylight Jones. You can find links to their work in the show notes. If you'd like to support the show, look for us on patreon.com or find our tip jar on Red Circle. Thanks for listening.